Hey there, it's Crafty Jennabug. Well, I have finished working in this journal and I'm really excited to share with you what I've done over the course of this month. I do apologize for the lack of videos. I've been quite busy outside of my craft room and it's been kind of difficult. Not only that, but Defember is coming up and I know I'm going to be posting a lot, so I've kind of been a little slack. So if that bothered you, I'm sorry. This cover is one of my favorite that I did throughout the year. In case you're new here or just not aware, I set a challenge for myself for 2023 wherein I made and decorated a junk journal for each month. And I used a paper bag as the base of the cover for all of them, and it has been quite a challenge. This is the second to the last one, and I am quite thrilled to have accomplished this. And yeah, so let's get down to it. Beautiful card on the front, some fabric leaves, and a little bit of embellishment with cheesecloth that I dyed, and this weird ribbon thing that I got at the Dollar Tree. A little bit of packing paper and some stamping and distressing, and yeah, I love it. I love it. So inside here on the cover page, I've got some mushrooms I found in an Art Scavenger printable. Fussy cut them, added this little gratitude tag and some cheesecloth. I love it. Little paint splatters. Here I have an Artsy Fartsy Life printable, some gourds. And this little guy, I love him so much. This little tag, another Artsy Fartsy printable. And I used some packing paper on the back and I sewed in some raffia. Love it. I love the way his little raffia peeks out. I did some stenciling with Distress Oxide inks to put leaves around the edge of this journaling page. Another journaling page. There are quite a few of them in here. I've realized recently that I really enjoy having full-size journal pages. Fabric leaf that I sewed on. Another Art Scavenger mushroom, and Enjoy Fall Colors, which came out of a scrapbook paper that had a bunch of different cutout things. A little collage here with some scrap pages and a mushroom stamp image, and it says friendship. The theme for this journal was gratitude. So I've incorporated gratitude. I incorporated a lot of things that remind me of what I'm grateful for. This was a paper bag sewn in, and I put this in there. It's a tag I made quite a long time ago using just some cardstock and some stamps and scraps. And then I took this piece of packing paper, or that might actually be part of a paper bag, and sewed it to make it like a ruffle, distressed it, and stuck it to the side as the pull tab. So you can see it sticking out and you know this is a pocket with something fun in it. Artsy Fartsy printable tag glued down with some feathers behind it. So I wanted to bring some of the pink from over here and kind of reinforce that. And then the red and the orange as well. A faux frame I got from a 49 Dragonflies free printable. Little mushroom, and there's some scrap paper behind it. The mushroom comes out of the frame. I really like this page. It's very simple, but this feels like wallpaper, so I really like it. I stamped a bunch of different iterations of thank you all on this. I used a stamp I found at the Dollar Tree, and I like how simple that page is and reminds me of what this journal is all about. Here I have a piece of tulle that is stamped with golden feathers. I hand sewed it with some really wonky stitching, which I love. Inside the pocket I put this. I made this in a earlier video where I used magazine subscription cards to make various different pieces of ephemera, and this one is a foldable little booklet And that was a lot of fun. I can link below the video where I made this. So, fun times. I thought with the mushrooms, and there's lots of mushrooms in here, it works. Colors, yeah. Here is the centerpiece of the first signature. I really didn't want to do anything to cover up these pages. I really liked the way the distress ink turned out, and I'm grateful for. So this would be a great place to journal about what I am grateful for. Here I made a pocket out of a scrap piece. I just sewed around it, glued it down, added some more Art Scavenger mushrooms and a bunch of loose threads. Artsy Fartsy printables, both of these, and the tag. Distress the back with Rusty Hinge distress ink. And on this, I've got some frayed burlap, and that might all be frayed burlap actually. I love it. Another little journal spot. I did some stenciling and I made a little circle with a mushroom stamp on it. I took a leaf from out in my yard. This was kind of difficult because at first I decided to use Mod Podge and then it all dried glossy and I decided I hated it. So I covered it at matte gel. This is not my best work. I would not recommend the process I used, but I really liked having a leaf in here. And then I used a little washi tape to make it look like that's what was holding it down. Hopefully it doesn't disintegrate. Artsy Fartsy printable. I just love the little animals stacked on top of each other, all the little hedgehogs. This is a pocket, the other part of the paper bag. Artsy Fartsy Life printable. Some mushrooms on the back, distressed with peeled paint and forest moss. I believe I stamped in forest moss as well. A little mushroom on the back. This could be journaling space, but I really didn't want to cover up the beautiful grunge effect that happened when I dyed the bag. Little tuck spot. I put Harvest on there. It was part of a scrapbooking page. I really like this. And this tag is probably my favorite in this journal. Just took some cardstock and distress ink and water and just went nuts. I sprayed it, I squished the ink on the packaging for my jelly plate and sprayed water on it and then just dipped the cardstock in there. This piece of green came from when I was doing the jelly printing for some of the pages in here. Some of the cleanup. I don't know if you watched the making of the journal. I had a big green section here and I just cut it out and ripped around it and used it as a backdrop, little frame for this piece of ephemera that came out of a pack of little ephemera pieces I found at Joann Fabric and Crafts. Added some paper reinforcements, the whole reinforcements that I dyed with forest moss and peeled paint, distress ink, and a little bit of twine. I love this so much. Here we've got some fabric pieces from the hinge on the next page. This was, I believe, a vintage card. I'm not quite sure where it came from. If I can find it, I'll link it below. And I made it a fold out. This is part of a napkin that I used matte gel to glue down, forgetting that the paper was dyed. That's what I did. I backed this card on a piece of packing paper that I had used as a backdrop to protect my surface, and it had a bunch of distress ink on it. So when I glued it down with the matte gel, all the color pulled up and into the napkin, which could have gone better, but I also really like it. Got some fabric here, just some scrap fabric I had laying around. I dyed with some distress inks. Little mushroom, a little bit of that crazy, I don't know if I want to call it ribbon or what. More fabric under here for it to sit on. Hidden journal space. Over here we've got a little side pocket, some more artsy fartsy printable brads that I glued to the back. I didn't put it through the pocket itself. Artsy fartsy tag with the back all grunged up. Left that blank because I loved it so much. And into the second signature. This was intended to be a tuck spot, this little collage cluster, but I don't think it would work very well as one, so I just made it for a little page decoration. Some packing paper, some scrap paper, a little, this was a rub-on transfer that I just happened to find in my stash and thought it was really cute. This little collage page is kind of warped. I think I used too much matte gel. And then I attempted to dry it with my heat gun, and that made it warp even more, so I had to let it air dry. Also because this plastic was melting with my heat gun. I've got a little piece of dictionary page that has grateful and gratitude, gratuitous definitions on it. I thought that was fun. Thankful, scraps. I've got a tea bag opened up and glued down back here, and another mushroom. This was an Artsy Fartsy Life tag. I added a little bit of raffia and this twine bow. That was a lot of fun. Here, I've got a little tuck spot. Well, actually, it's a pocket. I glued it down here too. Some die-cut leaves, a mushroom. These are both Artsy Fartsy printables. And I decided this little fox tag went really well. I realized that's predator and prey, and they might get up to mischief, so let's give them a chaperone. And so they're watching him, like, are you watching us? Can we get into mischief? Silly, but that's how my brain saw it. I did that, and then I went, they need a chaperone. Wait a minute. And this page was blank still. So I did a little stenciling with some distress inks and homemade stencils, some washi tape on the corners, and appreciation, because you know, who doesn't like to be appreciated? Plus, this little guy looks like he really appreciates the mushrooms. Here we've got some journaling page. I did some stamping on the background, added a little fabric leaf and some mushrooms that I fussy cut out of another Art Scavenger page. These were one of my favorite features of this little folded pocket thing. I decorated it with a mushroom and the number 11 for the month. This was an Artsy Fartsy Life printable tag, little mushroom stamping on the back. This came off of a piece of scrapbook paper that had all of the different months, and you could write in the days. And I distressed it with distress inks and water, and the same tapping and watered down distress ink. Added the days. Thought that was really cute in there. This part has a big pocket in the middle, and I put this tag I made out of two Artsy Fartsy Life printables glued back to back. I just loved it so much to have both of these little elemental creatures. We've got a gnome lady, and we've got like the man of the forest. I love it. All right, you can open anytime now. Thanks. I like the way it sticks out of there. Here I've got a circle Artsy Fartsy printable with a beautiful blue gourd on it. And then I made this tag out of a piece of old book page, a giant mushroom, some splatters. I glued it onto a piece of cardstock. And that is actually, I believe, German. I love it. I love it. Here I made a pocket out of a piece of scrapbook paper, used a rub-on transfer of a leaf to decorate the pocket, and another Artsy Fartsy printable tag with some rusty hinge and walnut stain distress ink. Another journal page. I stamped thank you on this little tag and put some brads through it and glued it all down. I love it. It gives you a lot of space to reminisce on what you are thankful for. Here I took this little Artsy Fartsy printable circle guy with a little hedgehog, backed it on some old book page and then used this sticker and glued it down as a frame. I think that just looks really good. This is, again, it looks like wallpaper, so it makes me really happy. These pages, I wasn't sure about these pages until I covered them, and then I realized I really liked them. Thank you very much. Came off a piece of scrapbook paper, and then I framed it with some red paper because I had this here already. Oh, sorry, and some of the red here. Just, it made it really pop. This artsy fartsy tag glued down, added a little bit of embroidery floss, and this little tag, a little leaf, another one of those fabric leaves. Another book page that I sewed around, and I did an embossed leaf stamp on it. Another artsy fartsy life tag with a little mushroom on the back. Another journal page, a little artsy fartsy tag and some leaves sticking out behind it. Belly band. I found this in my stash. It was part of a sticker sheet and it looked really cool, so I backed it on some cardstock, glued it down with some leaf stickers, and then an artsy fartsy life printable behind it. And I stapled it down using some staples that I dyed with alcohol ink. Here we have a cute little cluster, a big mushroom. It says begin each day with a grateful heart. This tag in the middle, it's an artsy fartsy printable. I backed on some cardstock and then sewed and ripped. Really wanted it to be grungy. This part I did a circle with a mushroom stamp on it, and I took an orange feather and used some walnut stain distress ink and just kind of lightly sprayed it to tone it down a bit. It was very bright. Make it a little bit more autumny. Autumnal, that's the word. Another artsy fartsy printable, some ribbon at the top, distressed back with a mushrooms growing on a tree stump. Again, can you tell I like the artsy fartsy printables? This beautiful page I turned into a bit of a collage. I've got some washi tapes and some scraps. I put nature's magic art because I am very grateful of nature's magic art. This was me testing out my sewing machine after having changed something, the bobbin. It was giving me a fit, so I took a piece of packing paper and one of the coffee filters that I had used to cut out leaves for the September journal, and I just sewed it together kind of like a page tab. So part of it on here and then part of it over here, and I just glued it down on both sides, and I really like it. I really like it. Another rub-on transfer to decorate this journaling page. Here we have another side pocket. I put just a little piece of scrap paper and a mushroom. This tag is another artsy fartsy printable. I backed it on some packing paper that I used to, cover my surface when I was painting. Added this orange feather on top and some gold washi to hold it down. Hold it down, it's glued. I really like the way it peeks out of there. This page I left blank, be used for journaling. It was too pretty to cover. And here we have a little poem called Tell Him So. If you hear a kind word spoken of some worthy soul you know, it may fill his heart with sunshine if you only tell him so. If a deed, however humble, helps you on your way to go, seek the one whose hand has helped you. Seek him out and tell him so. If your heart is touched and tender toward a person lost and low, it might help him to do better if only you'd tell him so. I added a little die-cut pumpkin image here, and that is the final decorated page in this journal. I loved working in this journal. It's a lot of things that I enjoy, a lot of nature, and mushrooms, and leaves, all things I appreciate and am grateful for. So, Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. This one was a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to next month. In case you're not aware, I like to participate in Defemember, which is a daily journaling challenge with a prompt list for making ephemera throughout the month of December. It is hosted by Barbara at 49 Dragonflies and Louisa Heinzel. They're both here on YouTube. I participated last year and it was hectic but amazing, and I had so much fun and cannot wait for this year. So my December journal will be full of ephemera made during Defemember. Again, I thank you so much for watching. I am so very grateful that I get to do this, and grateful for all of you who keep this channel going. I would not have completed this 12-month challenge without you. I can't say it's completed yet, but it's darn near, and I'm so grateful that I had all of you to hold me accountable. Have a great day. Bye.